Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rohit. Today we'll talk about a topic called ServiceNow Table API. So the ServiceNow Table API already is built in out-of-box ServiceNow instance. So today we'll talk about how we can use the ServiceNow Table API using that without any integration, how we can create, read, write in our ServiceNow platform. To demonstrate that how the table API is work, we should use the ServiceNow platform, and then in the ServiceNow platform there is a module called REST API Explorer. You can open this REST API Explorer and see that how it works. So without wasting time, let's get started. So this is the REST API Explorer. Yeah, using that you can create a record into the ServiceNow. You can insert, update, delete, patch, and put. So the actually 6 operation you can do in this using this REST API Explorer. This is REST API Explorer, just a platform which you will generate an endpoint URL, sample JSON body. You can pass this information to the third party, so the third party can take this input and then they can work and they can create, read, write, and update. Make sure that you have to understand one thing: this table API is actually very tightly coupled with the ACL. So if you don't have access to that user to create a record or search a record, it won't allow you to fetch the information. So before that, the very first operation is the retrieve a records from a table. Suppose you want to get information from a particular table. Let's take example for incident. So you want to take a details, or you want to take a information from the incident. You can easily do that. So for our case, this is the one of the incident. Let's talk about this is one of the incident, and I know the incident number, and I want to do some research or some details on that incident. How I can do that? So in the REST API Explorer, in the table name, you have to set the table name equal to incident. So we are going to set the table name equal to incident. And here, the second thing is that you have to type the encoded query for that. So our case is the number equal to the number. If you know the number, you can pass the number. Okay. So sysparam display value true means that whatever value is there, if you see that in our case, we have a lot of fields called assignment groups assigned to configuration item. So if I click and send here, I'll get all the details for this incident. Let's see. So I click the send and I can get all these details. Okay. And now if you think about the search with the assignment groups, we are unable to find out the actual value of the assignment groups. It is returning me the sysid, right? If you want to get the actual display value, pass this value equal to true and then click the send. So it will give you that actual display value. You can see the assignment group display value right now showing as a CAB approval. So that way you can, if you want to get the display value, you can just pass the value equal to true. It will return you the display value. So second thing is that this is the one of the parameter called sysparam exclude reference links, which is nothing but if you see these assignment groups. So this is the name of the display. The field is the display field is the CAB approval, and it is giving you the actual table level endpoint for the assignment groups. If you want to exclude, if you don't need those links, just make sure that you pass the true value here and click send again. So once you send that, you can see now if I search with the assignment, the length is also getting smaller. And if I search with the assignment group right now, you can see only it is returning me the CAB approval. It does not return me that sysid and does not return the link. Okay. Now here is the two more fields, important fields. I just want to talk about that. Whenever you are clicking on the send button, it is returning you all these fields, right? All the fields inside that one, right? So you might don't need those fields at all for these integrations. So you can specify those fields name here. From that, I need the number, I need the state, I need the closed, and few other fields. Whatever fields you need, you can just select those. And here is the sysparam limits, which is allow you to select 1 or 10. So you can select that and then click the send. So once you click the send, right now you can see only specific fields are showing right now: skills, number, closed ad, and the state. These are the fields right now showing. I don't receive that because I have restricted that these many fields are needed. Once you have set it all these things, how you know that, how you can pass this information to the third party? So every time when you call a get call, you will get a endpoint. For get call, we don't need any data, so we need a endpoint. Copy this endpoint and pass this endpoint to the third party. So this is the endpoint they are actually looking for. You just copy that endpoint and send them. So our case, I am just opening a new tab and hit that, and you will be able to see that all the data in my browser only. So once I hit that, it is asking me for credential. I need to put some credential. So you might be need to be put the credential to the third party. For example, you can send them a service account, create a service account for them, and then pass the credential. So I'll put my name here and my credential. Once I hit that, you can see this information I am receiving. Okay, so that way you can pass this information to the third party. You can pass the service account details to the third party. They can easily figure it out all these data. Okay. Second thing I just want to discuss about that, instead of sysparam query number equal to incident, you can pass any of these parameter called category, something like that, and you can pass that one also. So let's talk about that. I want to get the categories, the inquiry help, all this incident. I want to get that. So this is right now 17 data count. I'll copy this query and go back and paste here. So you can see that in this limit it's have 10, or you can only select 1 or 10. So you just you can in Explorer, REST API Explorer, you can maximally see the 10 record, but really in the real world you don't need to pass this parameter. So copy this endpoint again and just exclude this or last parameter sysparam limit. Just exclude that. In the real world you don't need the sysparam limit. Copy here and paste your URL and hit enter. You will be able to see all the 17 data here. Okay, so that's why we can get any information, we can get any user data from this REST API Explorer. We don't need to create any specific API or anything into the ServiceNow. It's already there in the ServiceNow inbuilt. Secondly, if you see here, there is options called here, whenever the code sample, right, how the code needs to be written on the they are giving you the some few samples. So if you click on the ServiceNow sample, this will be your endpoint. If you are trying to integrate ServiceNow to ServiceNow, if they are also using the ServiceNow, so they have to write the code in this way. If they are using the C, like for the CURL structure, we are giving that this is the CURL structure, and if you are using the Python, the code will be looks like that. So it is for few specific platform, it is generating already the code. For PowerShell or Perl, everything is generated. You just need to copy the code and send them. If you are not using any of these, you can use the CURL. This is the generic platform, so you can pass this information also to the third party. So that's the get method. We'll talk about the post method. Next method is the get is to get the information. Next method is the post method, which allow you to create a record. So our case, we are going to create a record into the incident table again. So we'll put here the table name equal to incident, and once you put the table name equal to incident, just scroll down. These are the extra parameter for the response. But if you want, you can fill up the same response parameter. This time the method is not get, so we can't hit to the browser and see that. But you can, if you are installing the Postman, you can use that. So in this builder, you need to pass all the field name. So our case is the short description called testing API. Okay, next you have to put one more field, all the field, whatever fields you are looking for, you can add multiple fields here. So we put the description, call a long description. So select that assignment groups. For the reference fields, either you need to pass the CSID or pass the exact display value. For our case, if I put the cab approval, it will be take that cab approval. So it will generate it will assign to the cab approval. Now once your all this data is set and done, once you click the send, it will be return you some informations. The from there you need to just collect the number. If you want, you just need to be collect the number. So this is your incident number. You will be able to see the incident number in your incident table. Let's go back to the incident table and see how the incident is created. So this is my incident table. You can see that 1005 that incident is created, and it's saying the short description is the testing API, long description is the long description. Here it is assigned to the cab approval. Let's open this incident and see how it's. So in this, remember one thing, whenever you are doing a table level API call, it won't restrict or won't honor your client side validation. If you have any client side validation, now I guess you can see that caller is a mandatory, but it won't honor the caller is a mandatory field, and it still allow you to create that. So any client side validation will be bypassed through these table API. So make sure that all your client side validation move to the server side validation. So next question will be how this information can be passed to this client or the third party. For that, if you scroll down here, this is your endpoint. So this is your endpoint that they have to be sent the data, and this is the method called post method. This is the accept, and this is the content type. Remove that, you don't need to pass this X user token, and this is your request body that they have to pass as JSON. Again, this is for the same thing. If they want to get the data from the C URL, you can copy that and pass that to the C that them. If they are using any of this platform, you can just click there and then it will generate a code, and then you can pass this code to them. Okay. So next we'll talk about there is a two get method. If you see, one is the retrieve records from a table. Syntax is the table name and then sysparam query, and another is the retrieve a record, which is the mandatory you need to be pass the sysid. So that is the mandatory you need to pass the sysid. If you don't know the sysid, you can't call this API. Again, this is the same way. You just need to pass this table name and the sysid. Once you push this case the sysid is a mandatory. So once you pass this table name and the sysid, and these are the parameters, the same parameters, and then once you click the send, it will be allow you to get the informations. It will allow you to get the informations. So there is a two more put and patch here before we going to delete. So modify a record and update a record. Both are actually work the same case, like both are work for the same purpose. Either you can modify or update, both the cases you can use the put or patch method. So I'll quickly go to this incident table, and then updating this record you definitely need a sysid. Okay, so if you don't know the sysid, you know the number, you do a retrieve call and get the sysid from there, and then you can update that. Okay, in this case we'll get this copy sysid here, and then I'll just update that. So put here the sysid, and this is the table name. I'll put the incident, and here you will be able to see list of the fields, that value you want to put that. I'll put the short description and new value. I'll click and then update. So once you click send, it will be update that, and it's showing the 200, means that 201 is for created, 400 for the error, and 200 for the okay, transaction is successful. You can see that all the data I am receiving right now, and if I go back to the incident, you can see the new short description is updated there. Okay, and now the final thing is that I'll just go back to the delete method and allow this also needs a sysid and the table name. Our case is the incident, and the sysid I just copied earlier, and then click the end, click the send. There is no such query parameter, much query parameter. You just need to be click OK, and if I refresh that, you can see that record is deleted. It means that the record got deleted. So that's how you can use that table API to create, update, get information, and also delete that. So that's it for today. If you guys like my video, please do subscribe and like and share and put your comments in my comment box. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a great day.